So guys, part of my delivery came. So the part of my tripod that kept breaking was this piece. So the tripod that I have is just this. I mean, this was a gift from a subscriber early in my channel, and this was something that was a gift, and I've used it for more than a year. So what I did was I ordered this piece and then an actual tripod, so I can set it here, or I can set it over here, or I can put it in that dirty ass cooler. But it's something else. And so this was the piece that was lost. When I got a hold of the post office, they reprimanded the delivery man and made him go pick it up where he had misplaced it and re-deliver it. So score one for the good guys. We're gonna talk about this knife right here in a minute. So yeah, a lot of content today. I put a video up on VidMe, and we're putting up 2 videos on my YouTube channel. All right, guys. Wow, that is so much better. So much easier to mount the phone in that way with that piece. So what we have is, this is my friend Nico, and hang on just a second, I need to do something because I was reviewing a video. Somebody told me that I may have misspoken. I was reviewing a video in the background and it stopped, and I went to another video, so hang on just a second. So this belongs to our little friend Nico Urbano, Krabby EDC on Instagram. This is his wife's scepter. He got his wife a scepter. I'm gonna sharpen it here in just a little bit. Real quick, I'm kind of running out of daylight here. I had to do some cleanup and move stuff around, and make supper and feed the dog, walk the dog, and things like that. But I'd never really done a video about one of the scepters. Not that I could find anyway. Could be one of those ones that got taken down by accident, you know. I told you, YouTube has taken a couple of my videos down, and I've had to have them put them back up. The nice thing about it is, if you catch it, they put it back up and all of your information stays with it. So your number of likes, your number of views, your all that stuff. So, and then one of my other subscribers, T is Good, had sent me a video. We were talking about something he was doing. Cayenne, stop. Dog's trying to attack the neighbor. I'm through under the door. So he provided me with some information on a way to maybe help with the monetizing. So you might see some different ads in my videos. If I can't keep them from putting ads in the middle of my videos. I don't know. So I may as well, you know, profit on it. So I apologize. Just skip them if you can, guys. I'm not telling you not to. Anyway, Ferrum Forge scepter. So the Ferrum Forge scepter is really an awesome little knife. It is a lot like the NTAC. As a matter of fact, it's pretty similar in size to the NTAC. This one was done in all black with some coating on some of the hardware and anodizing coating and things like that. And the nice thing about it was it was a pretty simple blade. It is all belly, but it's not as steep of a sweep up at the tip as an NTAC is. Not quite as steep or as much belly as a Fortis, but what you get is you get a pretty stabby blade. These were done in 20 CV, all titanium, standard 20 CV, Hoback rolling detent, titanium titanium scales, and pocket clip. They were one of their newer run of knives where they've started to change some of the things they were gonna do. And I'm gonna toss my stones into soak while we're talking. But it was when they had just kind of started to change some of the things they were doing, and they had switched back to 20 CV. As a matter of fact, one of my customers, a guy named Skyler, he has sent me an NTAC, but he just recently purchased one of these. And one of the things that he said was, man, I wish my NTAC would flip like my scepter does. 20 CV. There is just something about once a knife made in 20 CV breaks in and gets worn in, and this doesn't even have any oil in it, I don't think right now. Once it gets good and broke in, it's just so smooth. You get just, I tightened up the detent on this. I wanted the detent a little bit stiffer, and it hasn't smoothed itself on that track yet, so it doesn't fall like my Archbishop does. My Archbishop falls shut. 20 CV with a ceramic detent, Hoback rolling detent, is amazing. Now, one of the things that people don't understand, and I've heard the guys say it before, the Hoback rolling detent for them, for Ferrum Forge Knife Works, the reason they use it is not so much that you get that smooth roll, because for them, my NTAC for a good chunk of time until they replaced the HRD in mine, it didn't roll. It was really smooth. As a matter of fact, I think it was smoother when it didn't roll than it was when they put a new one in and it rolled at first. I mean, it's really smooth now. The N690 finally did accept that ceramic detent. But what you get is you force it. There's no play with that Hoback rolling detent, because it goes down in. If you can see in there how much of that detent is in there, and people are like, oh, that detent's down too far, and then they screw it out, and then they can't figure out why their knife won't flip. Well, it was designed for that. The hole that is in the blade for this knife is made like that, and that's why these knives flip open and snap open with such authority, is because that detent is so far down in there, oops, that it allows you to, you basically load all that force on that, and then it snaps open so well. And it's not so much does it reduce the friction. Well, yeah, sure, it does a little bit. But what you have is a larger detent that's sunk down in deeper. It takes away that sloppy, I mean, you can pull it, and you can, if you can make it do that if you try hard enough and just weak hand it. But most of the time you load that detent and it's gonna pop. And that's what the HRD gives you, is a bigger detent down in there, and it doesn't have it. Now, if you remember when I did the video about the hinderers, you could see how much play was in that. There's no play. There was no play in that. So it's just, you know, it's something that they found that worked for them, that the reduction of friction was just an added benefit. So the septers were a very, very nice, versatile pocket knife. I liked them because they were one of the knives that had the big finger choil up in here. I just wish that the choil up in here was a little bit bigger. I really do. I've got big hands. It's not a real uncomfortable knife for me, but if it was a little bit bigger, if I had a finger choil that I could get up a little bit forward in this, because I told you, if I see there's something wrong with a Ferrum Forge knife, just because they're my friends doesn't mean I won't call it out. I can get all the way up forward. I can't do that on this. But they were a spectacular knife for a small work knife. I just wish that I could have gotten up in it. By the time I get up in there, I've cut my finger. I will cut my finger. And this has one of Elliot's edges on it. And there, let me show you what one of Elliot's edges looks like when it comes from the shop. So I am going to resharpen this, because had Elliot known that I was going to sharpen it, he would have never put it on, wasted his sandpaper that he uses for sharpening. Let's see. Elliot's edges are stupid sharp. Heard many people say it, that Elliot's edges are as sharp as any knife they've ever gotten from the factory. Mine are just a little bit more refined. It's just all. That's all it is. It's just more refined. It's not any sharper. You can't apex it any more than he already has. I just have tools to refine that edge down a little bit, and I changed the edge geometry a little bit because I know how I would want a knife to cut, and a lot of people agree with me. So yeah, I have to sharpen this. Ferrum Forge septer. You see these pop up every once in a while. They have some parts, and every once in a while they get a wild hair up their ass and they make one. They made a couple end tacks. They made a couple end tacks that were gorgeous. I wish, man, I wish I could. I'm gonna have them redo mine. My father's is coming back to me eventually, and I'm going to do that. So, yep, I have a few things that I need to do. Like I said in my earlier video, I have got have some homework from my psychologist. I have to sit down and I have to do a list of things that are negatives, and put those on a piece of paper, and we're going to burn those. And I have a list of positives, and I'll put those in my pocket and carry them around. We have to do it together. It's a therapy thing, and then we're gonna do a bunch. There's a bunch of stuff we're gonna do tomorrow, and then we have a group session and things like that. So it helps. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen a psychologist or a psychiatrist. You'd be surprised, amazed at how just being able to tell someone something, things that, I mean, you could sit down and talk with your friends, and that would be great. But being able to talk to someone who knows how to guide you in a therapeutic way, it's amazing. It's the benefits of it are amazing. Talking to my boss yesterday was awesome. He is an awesome, such a positive. He's not even really my boss. I'm a sole proprietor. I'm an independent agent with Aflac. He's not really even my boss. He owns the agency where I work. I could go anywhere I wanted with Aflac. I choose to stay at Jack's because Jack, like I just said, is an amazing, positive person. And being able to talk to him was awesome. It was incredible. My therapist specifically said that it's probably one of the best things I could have done yesterday before getting to see him today for a longer session. He told me that yesterday when I saw him. But there's a lot to be said for talking to somebody that knows how to guide you through that conversation. So any of my fellow veterans that do experience some of the depression and issues that I have and some things like that, there's nothing wrong with going and talking to someone. It can be amazing. Any of you guys that are wondering why I'm not wearing my hat, when I did my last video, I could smell something. I was like, what is that fucking smell? It's my hat. I had to wash my hat. It's hanging up to dry. Yeah, it was that bad. It was that bad. So, yeah, no, that's it. I just did my mowing for the summer. I got a 2-gallon jug with the pump of Roundup, so my yard should be mowed for the summer. And I'm gonna sharpen Nico's wife's knife. And I got a text from him. Asked me, his wife wanted to know what kind of cookies I want. I was like, weed? Is that an option? Apparently she doesn't know how to make weed cookies. So I'm gonna probably say oatmeal raisin. Those are one of my favorites. No walnuts though. I don't understand that. Hey, I made you oatmeal raisin cookies. Hey, there's walnuts in it. Fucking keep them. Thanks, but no thanks. Sorry, but not sorry. All right, guys. There's my joke for the video. I'm trying to be cheerful. All right, guys. I do have to go. I have to sharpen this knife, and I got to take the dog for a walk and do some other things that I have neglected for the rest of the day. So, all right, man. Like I said, I love you guys. You're great, and I will talk to you and see you all next time. Find me on VidMe, Crazy Sharp.